Yo, what's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. What's going on? What is going on? All right, let's have a look at the Jasmy chart right off the hop. What's up, guys? Check it out. So perfect, guys. We came down here, right? We wicked down almost to our golden pocket, and then immediately wicked all the way back up to resistance support yesterday. And then here we go. We've moved all the way up today, last night, to resistance now at 1 cent 951. And we reject it off. We've come back down. We're starting to make another run at it here today because BTC is starting to try to make a run. I think Bitcoin gets back up over 68K today at some point. But we're just ping-ponging right now, guys, between resistance and support here. It's just a narrow little range if Bitcoin starts to run. But here's the thing, guys. We got to get above the 30-day SMA is acting as a very, very strong level of resistance, okay? Look what's happened here with the 30-day SMA. We hit it here. We rejected hard off of it, right? We hit it here, almost hit it right here. We rejected hard off of it. Again here, hard rejection. Rejected, back hard again, right? So we've rejected really, really hard off of the 30-day SMA 1, 2, 3, 4 times, right? 4 times. So we got to get up above there. It's acting as a very powerful level of resistance. And we will just give it time. We need a solid breakout on Bitcoin, and then we'll start to see that happen. But if we go over and we have a glance at Bitcoin's chart, as you can see, we've completely engulfed bullish engulfing candle on the daily for Bitcoin right now. We're back up to 67,600. Guys, I don't understand how people are bearish. We're closing daily candles above $67,000 right now, right? $67,000. That's very, very good, guys. Look at this. We have set in a new higher low on the daily time frame, right? Very, very bullish here that we're doing this, guys. Now, if we go over to the weekly, very, very similar. What we're doing here, guys, as you can see, is we're doing the same thing. We're setting in a higher low on the weekly time frame. We were below here yesterday, and I told you guys we were likely going to wick back up over this trend line on this descending channel, this broadening wedge that we have going on here. And we're back up above here. We're probably going to close this weekly candle here. We could close it green for all we know. If we can get back up over 69K, we could close this candle green again, right? But the important thing is we close outside on the weekly time frame of this trend line to confirm the breakout to the upside, right? And not only are we confirming the breakout, but once again on the weekly time frame we are setting a higher low, right? Which is further continuation to the upside. So things are playing out very, very nicely here, guys. Very juicy. And if we go and we have a look at the bubbles, let's see what's going on. We're starting to see a sea of green starting to form in most of the market. As you can see, Jasmy up 2.4, Bitcoin up 2.5, Miria, everything's looking very, very nice. We go over across the board. Look at this, guys. We're starting to see a sea of green as we start to creep our way towards the afternoon. So Pith up 11.1%, Turbo's up 9.2%. I was telling you guys when Turbo was down below a cent, I said, guys, Turbo's a good pickup below 1 penny. Get in where you fit in. You do you, boo-boo, right? So yeah, very, very bullish. Casper's been taking, what a massive hit Casper's been taking. Where is Casper right now? Oh, Casper got removed from crypto bubbles. I can't remember what their new ticker is. That's right, they got a new ticker, right? Is it AI Labs or something like that? I don't know. I can't remember what the new ticker is for Casper. So if you know what it is, let me know, guys. But it has taken a pretty big hit. So Casper's not doing too good right now. All right, let's get into news, guys. I will get to your comments and questions in the chat in a bit, but I want to just get through the news first, and then we will get to the chat. So, all right. So Dell Crypto says the Jasmy bull case theory is highlighted by two inevitable catalysts. The first one is any media release from Jasmy announcing revenue-aimed operations and partnerships, and the second one is one I disagree with, guys. He says removal from Binance's innovation zone. I disagree with that, and I've said this multiple times. I don't think that this is as big of a catalyst as people think that it is, right? Everyone's expecting some massive run up when Binance removes Jasmy from the monitoring zone. For me, it's a nothing burger. I don't think anyone who's interested in buying Jasmy gives two flying Fs if it's in the monitoring tag on Binance. I just don't think so, right? And you know, I could be wrong, right? It could get removed at some point, and you know, Jasmy could run up as a result. But I got to be honest with you, I think it's going to be a nothing burger. I think we might see like a 10-15% pump on it. That's about it. And then see, that's a problem. I've made videos talking about this where people, especially newer people to crypto, they build up expectations on a catalyst because of other content creators telling them it's going to be big. And then when it underperforms what they think it's going to do, right, then they get pissed off at the company and the project, and they start blaming Jasmy, and they start then that's where you start to get negative, toxic people making posts on X and whatever about it, right? But it all starts with unrealistic expectations on what a catalyst is capable of doing. And I just think that being removed from the monitoring zone is a nothing burger for the price of Jasmy. I think it's far overrated and over talked about. I talk about it and do videos on it because it's what you guys want me to talk about, right? But in reality, my personal opinion on it is that it's not going to be the thing that propels the price of Jasmy to the moon, right? I just don't think so. So align your expectations with something more realistic, right? Maybe a 10-15% bump, that'd be nice. But that's about it, right? All right, moving along. What do we got? I have a bit of a longer video here. I have an interview with Brad Garlinghouse that I wanted to show you guys. Okay, so talking Ripple and XRP.
It's a great way to get into our next guest, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, of course, one of the companies we named when it came to the involvement in this election cycle. And Brad, you know, it's interesting because your co-founder, Chris Larsen, has given a lot of money to the Harris campaign. You had just told us a little bit ago that you are fiercely independent. And so when you...
Now, to be clear, Chris Larsen has given his own personal money to Harris's campaign, not Ripple's money. A lot of people are confused by that.
You think about the differences in the candidates and how they might approach crypto. What do you really know, particularly because the Harris campaign has been far more vague?
Well, I think there's one thing I feel very confident about, and that is the Biden administration's approach to regulation of the crypto industry. That is coming to an end for sure. And I think no matter where this plays out at the presidential level, we'll have a more constructive engagement with this industry. It's a critical industry. It's an innovative technology. And I think the United States should be at the forefront and leading, as we did with the Internet of Information. I think we'll get there. As I said yesterday at the Philadelphia Federal Reserve, I think Gary Gensler's reign of terror on the crypto industry is going to come to an end very soon.
Brad, in your view, does it matter if Kamala Harris is president come January 20th or Donald Trump is president come January 20th? What's better for you? What's better for Ripple?
Well, I've taken a very neutral point of view. For the crypto industry, I think it's clear that the Republicans at a macro level have been more proactive in saying this is an industry that needs clear regulation. You have seen a Republican-led bill in the House pass with 71 or 72 Democrats crossing the aisle to support that in a very bipartisan way. So I think we have seen a more Republican-centric but I also think you've seen indications that the Harris campaign wants to reset some of the very flawed approaches that the Biden administration has had with the crypto industry and other parts of technology. So What I'm optimistic about is we're going to see a change. We're going to see a reset. And I think we need that at the federal level. The United States, there's no question, the United States is behind other leading countries like the UK, like Switzerland, like Singapore, like Japan, that are way ahead in providing constructive and clear regulation and rules of the road for this industry.
Brad, I also want to kind of switch gears here and talk about another milestone, let's call it, for XRP, which is this idea that you have asset managers now filing for ETFs tied to it, started by Bitwise. What is the prospect of having that spot ETF tied to XRP anytime soon, and what do you think it'll mean for the price of XRP?
Look, I think we clearly are seeing ETFs have been popular. You know, the United States SEC was dragged kicking and screaming to approve the Bitcoin ETF in January. I think you've seen about $17 billion flow into that ETF. I think it's the fastest growing ETF in history. It's very clearly demonstrating there's demand from institutions, there's demand from retail to access this asset class. So the XRP interest has grown. You've seen 2 or 3 ETF filings happen around XRP. And to me, it's just inevitable. You're going to see an XRP ETF. You're starting to see there's a filing around a basket ETF that has, I think, 5 or 6 cryptos in it, which I think also makes a lot of sense. But it also is just part of the trend of more and more institutionalized participation in the crypto industry. So
I agree with him there when he's talking about the baskets, guys. And I've talked about this many times, that people keep saying, you know, XRP ETF, which, yeah, we'll probably get. You know, and they start going through all these altcoins. You start seeing these obscure random altcoins. You see content creators saying, oh, so-and-so, this random altcoin with like a, you know, $100 million market cap is going to get an ETF, right? Like a Doge ETF and like all kinds of stuff like that. Guys, that's not going to happen. Every altcoin's not going to have an ETF status. What's going to happen here, there's tens of thousands of altcoins at this point. Right? It would take them decades to review them all to give them grant ETFs. So they're going to create baskets, right? And what they're going to do is they're going to set a standard or a criteria for a project to be able to qualify for these baskets, right? Is the way that it's going to end up going down. And basically, one of the criteria is probably going to be you need to have some sort of real world use case and utility, right? They're going to be their way of keeping meme coins out of these ETF baskets, right? Because there has to be some sort of level of separation between degen investing into like meme coins and stuff like that and ETFs. You're not going to see meme coin ETFs, right? I know there's meme coin unrealistic content creators that say that kind of stuff. It's not going to happen, right? There's no way they're going to let that happen. But utility plays and stuff that meet a certain criteria in terms of real world use case and utility are going to qualify to be in these baskets. So I agree with what he's saying here.
So I think we're going to continue to see that. And I do think it creates upward pressure on the prices for many different cryptos, including XRP.
The flows into the Bitcoin ETFs have been pretty remarkable. Not so remarkable have been flows into the ETH ETFs. What indication do you have, Brad, that there actually is demand for an XRP ETF?
Well, I would disagree that there's not, that the ETH ETF, I think, has done exceptionally well. It hasn't done as well as Bitcoin, but if you look at the kind of market dominance of Bitcoin compared to ETH, the ratio is about the same in terms of the ETF participation. Obviously, the ETH ETF is newer. So I actually think the ETH ETF has done very well. I think we clearly see a very interested and active community around the XRP ecosystem, both here in the United States and beyond, and that has grown. And so I think that a XRP ETF will do quite well.
You know, I also want to talk about another overhang on the XRP price, and that is the ongoing battle you have with the SEC. And you have that recent move by the SEC to appeal a court judgment that had been more favorable for Ripple in this fight. When does it end, Brad?
Yeah. So look, it's super frustrating, obviously. XRP, it happens to be that XRP was rallying, and then the announcements around the ETFs, and the SEC decides to, from my point of view, manipulate the market, and the price of XRP goes down 20%. Now, the good news is they're not appealing whether or not XRP is actually a security. I think this is actually misunderstood in the market. They're appealing kind of a nuanced piece around programmatic sales of XRP. So the law of the land is clear. XRP is not a security. It's a sad reality. There's only two digital assets where there is regulatory clarity. That's Bitcoin and XRP. But do we really want to have to go and litigate every single token to determine whether or not they are securities or not? We need clear rules of the road, and the SEC has just not been a good faith actor. And luckily, the courts and federal judges have called them out on that and used words like they're being arbitrary and capricious. That's a quote. Saying things like they're not acting with a good faith allegiance to the law. Another quote. So this is not an agency that has acted in good faith to find a way to regulate this industry in a way that works for the industry and works to protect consumers.
Hey, Brad, we mentioned earlier that Ripple, one of the biggest donors out there when it comes to campaign contributions, whether those are going to political action committee or to candidates. What are you looking for in return from these politicians?
We are looking to get progressive, forward-thinking, pro-innovation, and pro-crypto people elected. And the fact that crypto in any way has become partisan is kind of madness to me. It's almost like saying one politician is against email and one is pro-email. Like, it doesn't really make sense. What I think regulators and elected politicians should focus on is how are these technologies used, not taking issue with one technology or another. So we have gotten active because we've had such a hostile environment here in the United States. And again, I'll contrast that with, we've had a massively growing business outside the United States in markets where regulators and elected officials have engaged and created clear rules of the road. So we've been actually very happy and excited about how that has played out. And I think we're seeing pro-innovation, pro-technology, pro-consumer protection candidates get elected over candidates who really have had backwards views of, and frankly, spreading misinformation and lies about how crypto is being used.
Brad, I want to switch gears for a second here. Got to get your opinion on what we just saw just this week. Eye-popping deal, really, for Stripe to acquire a stablecoin platform, a more than $1 billion deal in this industry. When you look at a deal like that, do you say, okay, maybe we sell Ripple, or at least partner with another large financial technology firm to expand in the world of stablecoins?
Look, I look at that as a very positive sign that this industry is just becoming more and more mainstream, more and more integrated, and more demand and different payment flows. So I view it as a very positive thing for the industry. As you probably know, Ripple is about to release our own stablecoin called RLUSD. I think the stablecoin market's going to continue to grow, and I think Stripe is clearly indicating they think the same.
Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse joining us from DC FinTech Week down in Washington, D.C.
A lot of valid points there, guys. A lot of valid points by Brad, whether you like XRP and Ripple or not. It is what it is. All right, let's get into Rect Capital here, guys. He says BTC in the 2015-2017 cycle, Bitcoin peaked 518 days after the halving. Now, if you've been here a while, guys, you know I've been saying this for a while now, that we have an average of somewhere around 515 days is my target from the Bitcoin halving to the top of the cycle this time around. So my prediction for the peak of this cycle is mid-September, give or take 4 or 5 weeks, right? That's mid-September of next year. And Rect Capital here is kind of echoing my sentiment here. He says in the 2019-2021 cycle, Bitcoin peaked 546 days after the halving. If history repeats itself and the next bull market peak occurs 518 to 546 days after the halving, that would mean Bitcoin could peak in this cycle in mid-September or mid-October, which is what I've been saying for about 3 months now, right? Currently, Bitcoin is still accelerating in this cycle, but approximately 35 days or so. So the longer Bitcoin consolidates after the halving, the better it will be for whatever that word, this current cycle with the traditional halving cycle. So exactly in line with what I've been saying for quite a while now, guys, that I was expecting the peak of this cycle sometime around mid-September, give or take 4 or 5 weeks, right? Which would bring us mid-September to mid-October. And I've been talking about this. We've been talking about this a lot over on the Patreon, guys. People have been asking me when they should be starting to set their sell orders and stuff, when I'm anticipating I will be out of the market, because listen, I leave the market earlier than most people. I leave before the peak of the market because I don't want to be standing there trying to play musical chairs with the rest of the market, hoping that my sell orders fill, right? I front run the market. I sell when there's still FOMO in the market, where there's still liquidity at my sell targets, and I get my money. I make, I can become a XCN millionaire. I can become a Jasmy millionaire. I can become a Swift millionaire, a KASPA millionaire with my holdings at a much, much lower rate than most people, because I front run the market and then I get the hell out. I walk away. Could I make more in the cycle by staying longer? Yes. But I also increase my risk of not making the money I want to make, right? I'm more than happy to walk away with a few $1 million this cycle and reinvest most of it into the bottom of the next bear market than trying to stay longer than I should and risk not making the money that I want, if you understand. That's what we do over on the Patreon, guys. That's why I'm saying get over there and get help to make sure you're getting out on target. What else do we got? More from Michael Vandepop. Let's see what Michael's got to say. Michael's one of our favorite analysts here. He says, there we go. The dip has happened on Bitcoin. I think that the correction is over. Today's macroeconomic season is kicking off with the PMI data. Expecting to see all-time high test in the next 2 to 4 weeks. So Michael Vandepop, I have an article we're going to read about his opinion a little bit later. But he feels that we have bottomed out in the market. I agree. I told you guys we had to sweep those lows around 64, 65. We touched 65K. Insight, Bernstein predicts Bitcoin's market cap will hit $7.5 trillion in 2025. That's just Bitcoin he's talking about, not the asset class itself. That's crazy.
I think what we expect now is more a risk-on side of the market to kind of turn on, and I think crypto is going to play a big part of that. We obviously expect the crypto market to triple from here, go to almost $7.5 trillion in terms of total market cap. And given, obviously, Robinhood is among the few brokers who provide a full suite crypto platform, we expect that the flexibility to kind of kick in with its sort of crypto revenues inflecting almost 9 times. So yes, it's been 2 years, I think, of a fairly challenging period, given, we went through a fairly 24 hike in the rates, and the overall risk environment was very different. Going forward, we think crypto is going to lead that charge in terms of its transaction revenues inflecting. I think
do you know what's going to happen to your altcoins if Bitcoin's market cap triples? Holy smokes. Holy smokes, guys. It's going to blow your freaking mind. What does Hester Pierce have to say? Hester Pierce is chiming in here. She says, SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce regarding cryptocurrency regulation framework. This is America, and people should be free to make their own choices.
You, Commissioner, you are seen by the public as more pro-crypto, or at least less anti-crypto than some other members of the SEC. Why do you think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm making this assumption, but why do you think it's important for the nation to adopt more pro-crypto friendly stances and regulations?
Well, I think as I mentioned, it's not about being pro or anti-crypto. It's about saying I'm a regulator and my job is to regulate in a way that allows the markets to figure out what they want and what they don't want. And what my criticism has been is that we have taken a decidedly anti-crypto approach to the way we interpret our regulations. And I think that's completely wrong for us to do that. I think we need to go back to being neutral. And that means we do work with people and help them figure out how to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish while remaining consistent with our securities law objectives. And we could do that. It would not be hard for us to do. I mean, it would require some work, but it's not impossible. And I think that's the job of a regulator, to take new facts and circumstances and to work with people to figure out how they fit within the current framework, and then allow the public to make their own decisions about whether they want things or not. this is America, and people should be free to make their own choices. And so that's the world that I'm hoping that we can create with a more neutral regulatory framework.
Yep, I agree, guys. The next SEC commissioner chair, in my opinion, I hope it happens. Hester Pierce seems to have a head on her shoulders. Guys, we got some new listings to announce. Turbo is now listed on Topper by Uphold. We also have them listed on, we have another listing for Turbo on Apex Protocol, along with SEI Network and Nero. All got listed today on Apex Protocol. Very, very bullish there. What else do we got? Oh, check this out, guys. Here's some interesting news. Kraken plans to launch their own blockchain next year in 2025. Very, very bullish, guys. Everyone's going to have their own blockchain. You get a blockchain. You get a blockchain. Everybody gets a blockchain. Ash Crypto says BlackRock bought 4,703 Bitcoin worth $317.5 million yesterday. In the last 8 trading days, BlackRock has accumulated 27,120 Bitcoin worth $1.83 billion. Guys, how do you not see that the available bit, the supply is going down at an exponential rate? Guys, you got to get in before it's too late. Obviously not financial advice. Paul Byron Network, what is he talking about, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. It says Paul Byron on the potential role of XRP within the BRICS payments.
You have to kind of look at what they've got on their agenda, which is BRICS clears this next one. It says possibly soon. So this could happen today, it may not. But this would be an interstate digital settlement across a border security settlement. Now, this could be something like a Chainlink, could be Ripple. Likelihood, I'm thinking more likely it could be Ripple. You look at what Ripple is doing, they're joining the BIS task force. Remember, we just talked about the BIS task force for cross-border payments. And this was a task force that was issued. Let me kind of zoom in on that. There is Ripple right there. Now, Swift is in there, TCH is in there. There's a lot, but the question will be is how does BRICS start to move into this? Now, remember, there are 30 countries right now. This could accelerate into 40, 50, 60. And one of the reasons, again, goes back into what Schechner said, and that is that these countries become their own central bank, their own unit of measure. That is a big deal going into the investment markets. Ripple also, yep.
So to segue from that, guys, we have a little clip here from BRICS News. Russian president says the US dollar is still the most important tool for global finance, but it is used as a political weapon to undermine trust in the currency. Check it out.
Since the use of the dollar, which is still the most important tool in global finance, and its use as a political tool undermines trust in this currency, thereby reducing its capabilities. We are not the ones who do that. It's others. We are not rejecting the dollar or fighting against it, but if they don't let us work with it, what else should we do? We should seek other alternatives, and this is exactly what we do.
So playing devil's advocate, guys, do you really blame them at the end of the day? Basically what he's saying here is the U.S. has used the U.S. dollar, the world currency, and abused their control over it to the point where, applying all these sanctions and punishing the other countries like they're their children to dictate whatever narrative or whatever agenda that the States wants globally, right? Now, whether you like it or not, they're not wrong. I mean, if it was me and someone was dangling their money over my head saying you can use it, but only the way we say you can use it, eventually all the kids are going to get together and say, let's just make our own thing and screw these guys, right? So really a lot of people are worried about this because I'm getting asked about it more and more. At the end of the day, the States has kind of created this monster themselves by the abuse of the US dollar, not only with threatening sanctions and stuff with their dollar, but also watering it down, printing it, making it meaningless, right? So the States kind of did it to themselves at the end of the day. I shouldn't say the States, because the citizens didn't, the government did, right? So that's my thoughts on that. KASPA, new listing for KASPA on exchange.io. Very bullish. We love our KASPA here. You guys know we love our KASPA, right? KASPA Army, where you guys at? So what's next for Bitcoin? Analyst Vandepop explains big things are coming in the next 2 to 4 weeks. The leading cryptocurrency Bitcoin excited investors by reaching as high as $69,500 at the beginning of the week, but then fell to $66,000. While this decline has raised concerns, popular analyst Michael Vandepop has claimed that Bitcoin will reach new all-time highs in the next few weeks, stating that he is optimistic about Bitcoin. Pop said that he sees the solid decline as the healthy correction, and I agree, guys. I was actually calling for that correction for weeks. Sharing his analysis from his X account, the analyst remained bullish on BTC and argued that the new all-time high could occur in the next 2 to 4 weeks. This all-time high would be supported by favorable macroeconomic conditions, Pop added, stating that apart from Bitcoin, the altcoins named NEAR is also on the rise. Pop said that the markets are preparing for the next big rise, stating that NEAR is a perfect example of this situation. The analyst said that NEAR is slowly climbing upwards, and the next target on the rally is $10 to $15. Very bullish for NEAR holders, guys. If you are holding NEAR, very, very nice. And continuing on with the BRICS narrative, BRICS Nation has united and introduced a new BRICS currency to replace the US dollar. So there it is. That's what it looks like, guys. This is what it looks like. Look at that. Interesting. Very, very interesting stuff. Pompliano. Let's see what Pompliano has to say.
What's going on, guys? The national debt is a national crisis, and I'm shocked that more politicians aren't talking about this. Let's look at some stats. First, in the first 221 years of the United States, we racked up $12 trillion in debt. In the last 5 years, we added another $12 trillion. That's insane. Now, if we go and we take a look at the Congressional Budget Office, they predict that by 2053, we will have racked up $153 billion in the national debt. That's unsustainable. And then to make matters worse, because interest rates are high right now, we are spending just as much on the interest payments of the national debt as we are on defense spending. That is insane as well. And so you would think that politicians are talking about this, but I haven't heard either candidate promise to balance the budget. None of them want to actually go and get spending down. Instead, what you're hearing is that they are going to inflate away the debt. That's right. The government's plan is not to stop spending. Instead, the government's plan is they are going to use inflation to actually address the debt. And that means they're going to steal purchasing power from the citizens. That is not a good plan. But regardless of what the government's going to do or not going to do, you can't control that. Instead, you can simply get your money out of cash and get into investments. Paul Tudor Jones recently went on CNBC. He said he's long gold, he's long Bitcoin, he's long commodities, and he's long stocks. All of those things go up when the dollar is devalued because they're denominated in dollars. Investors win and savers lose. That's going to be the story of finance over the next couple of decades because we got too much debt and the government doesn't have a plan. All they know is they got to inflate it away. And so inflation is coming and investors are going to end up benefiting.
He's not wrong, guys. That is the way of the future, the next few years. Get in where you fit in. All right. What else do we got? We got some from Squawk Box. Former Governor Kevin Walsh says he was puzzled by the Fed's 50-point basis cut. Check it out.
We are just a few weeks away from the Fed's next meeting, and our next guest says that he was puzzled by the central bank's 50 basis point cut because he thinks it contradicts everything they've previously said about their policy. Joining us right now is former Federal Reserve Board Governor Kevin Walsh. He's a distinguished visiting fellow at the Hoover Institution.
So distinguished. It's like hard to say it. Distinguished enough. Yeah. Greeks have distinguishment.
He's wearing a tie. I just arrived and the sniping has already begun. Becky, why don't you take control over this?
I think
you shouldn't take things as sarcasm when they're not. Yeah, you should take very distinguished.
We are very happy to have you here, Kevin.
Just call him chairman.
Why don't you just explain what you mean?
Chairman-elect.
Why don't you explain what you mean by saying this goes against what the Fed had been saying up to this point with their policy?
So they've had different theories, Becky, about causes of inflation, the measures they use, and people in financial markets and media have tried to follow those. They said for a long time, you'll recall a few years ago, they were for flexible average inflation targeting. So inflation, when it was at 1.7, they said, we'll get it a little higher. We'll try to balance around 2. They seem to have gotten rid of that idea without replacing it. So they don't have a broad new strategy. Then they said for a long time, what really matters is core PCE. That's what we should focus on. But it's now running at around 2.7%, nowhere near their 2% range. About a year ago, they said, well, the best measure of inflation is now what they created a new category. And they said it was core services X housing. Well, that's in the 4s. Previously, Janet Yellen and embedded in the Fed model said what really matters is wages. And so we need wages to run at 3%, which is consistent with inflation running around 2. Wages are running around 4. So all of this isn't to say that all this is to say they don't seem to have a serious theory of inflation that's theoretical and empirical. It's not obvious that they acknowledge what their role is in prices. Instead, it has something to do with wars and pandemics. I think in a world this dangerous, in economic policy where fiscal policy is irresponsible, the central bank needs to be very clear about its reaction function, be clear about its goals, and not look like it's lurching. That's what put us in the mess we have.
I understand your point. I will say I can understand their perspective if they're saying, look, it was inflation. Inflation's been coming down. Now maybe we need to pay attention to our other mandate, which is the jobs market. However, the jobs numbers have been better than anticipated, too, over this time. I can understand moving around and saying there are things that are more important at different points in time. What do you think about the dissent that there was at the last meeting, and do you think there will be more at this meeting?
Yeah, so it's a fair point. So what you're really saying is they've claimed that they're data dependent.
Right.
And when times change, they should change. Well, of course that's right. I can't argue with that. The data since early part of the summer has gotten better. The economy's gotten stronger. The broad sense of the data is the economy's in better shape.
Stock market.
Well, the stock market is in better shape. So if that's all true, then maybe they're not data dependent. I do not want to be the person accusing them of politics. That is not the central bank I know. The members of the FOMC that I know, they don't play politics. But when you don't have a theory of the case and you don't follow it, it is easy to get that accusation, and it's harder for people like me to defend them.
So why do you, go.
Did you see?
Something that's frustrating for me, guys, is that I see these people on Squawk Box and on national television who have, millions of dollars, okay? And they come on and they talk about how wonderful the economy is. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. For you, because you're a millionaire, everything is fine, right? The price of eggs going up significantly doesn't affect you really, right? You don't notice that you don't notice that in the short term. So you get them on here and they say, look, man, the S&P 500 is reaching new all-time highs. Gold and silver are reaching new all-time highs, right? This is all good. The economy's good. It's all good in the hood, right? Go tell that to the single parent who can't afford gas in their car right now or groceries to feed their kids. Is the economy really good to them right now? Right? That's the ignorance of people who have money that go on national television and talk about things that they don't understand. And that's the same thing with celebrities going up and telling people to vote for Kamala Harris, right? They say, vote. They're okay with Kamala Harris and the way that things have been for the last 4 years because the economy doesn't affect multimillionaires the same way it affects us. They don't care if groceries cost more money. They don't care if gas costs more money. It doesn't affect them, right? But they're up there telling you that the economy's fine and that everything's good and you can't afford gas. That's a problem, guys, right? That's what bothers me. People who have money telling people who don't have money that the economy is fine when everything's expensive. That's irritating, right? All right. So let's get into the chat, see what everybody's talking about this morning. Multi-Planet Pro in the house. What's up, buddy? Guys, make sure you're smashing the like and subscribe to the channel. Be great to have you stick around, help the channel grow. Means everything, guys. Strange Sky, go to the Patreon, only $17, 17 euros in the, yes, absolutely, guys. Get over to the Patreon. You're definitely missing out. Book your one-on-one coaching calls with me. Guys, we have amazing video group calls over there as well that we talk about tax and tax implications, self-custody, cold storage wallets, DeFi staking, everything, portfolio structure, profit taking, sell orders, front running the market. If you want to get a plan in place to get your profits out and front run the market, get your sell orders in while there's still liquidity at your sell orders, at your sell limits, guys. You're going to need this stuff, right? So get over, join the Patreon, join the conversation. Dumb Money's in the house. What's up, buddy? Strange Sky, hey Robin fam, good to see you. Good to see you, Rob the OG. I am Jasmy. I am Jasmy. We're all Jasmy. Big Kev in the house, man. Hey Rob and Crypto fam, just keep buying the dips. I can't help myself. Yeah, exactly. Soul Boy, what's up, man? Nicholas, what's up, big dog? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Kev, hello everyone. I'm Kevin, and I'm a crypto addict. Wild Goat Coin on Solana. Pack your bags. Let me check it out for you, brother. Let me see what you are talking about. I have heard of this coin. In fact, I read that it got listed somewhere this morning. Goat Coin? Wild Goat Coin? Is this the one you're talking about here? Wow, it's only got a $693 million market cap, guys. This one is very, very early. Holy smokes. 100% of the supply in circulation. Yeah, man. Honestly, like, you can get it on Radium and Jupiter right now in Uniswap. Honestly, guys, I got to agree with Soulboy here. For me, I'd probably, and it's not financial advice, but I would probably throw a couple $100 into this and just let it ride, because this is so early, and I have started to see a lot of posts about it, so the community is growing, so it could pop off. I bought Nero. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Nero is in the phase right now of getting listed everywhere, so they're getting a lot of liquidity going through there. Not coin prediction. I don't have a prediction for not coin, but I will have a look at it for you. I mean, what was the all-time high on not coin anyways? 2 cents. No, 7. I don't know. It's only got a $778 million. It's almost $1 billion. I mean, it depends on what happens with Telegram and the whole issue with the creator. But Notcoin could definitely run. It is GameFi as well. I mean, we could see this. It's definitely going to smash through all-time highs. Maybe 10, let's say 10, 12 cents, something like that I could see realistically happen. Hot Rod, he has to take a neutral position because his founder is for Kamala, trying to keep the peace. But I feel like he's for Trump. Can't say it. Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. You're probably right, man. WF Capital in the house. Beebs, what's up, fam? Good to see you. YM Chap, what's up, brother? Hard not to want to skip ahead like 6 months in time. It's hard to be busy. Yeah, no kidding, man. It's like that movie Click, Adam Sandler movie, eh? Just want to fast forward a little bit. David, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. KD3, just now catching up. Yamaha, such a great strategy, getting out early and avoiding the intense stress of trying to cash out at the top. Yes, 100%, man. That is our strategy over on the Patreon. And the beauty of it is, so we're going to walk away with our money a little bit early, just a tad earlier than everybody else. And then what's going to happen is we're going to sit around with our feet up, watching the market in turmoil and panic while everyone heads for the doors when they realize that we're headed towards the bottom. We're going to be sitting there with our feet up, drinking Mai Tais, right? Funky grass is growing today. Yes, absolutely. William's in the house. I knew you'd pop up, William. Good to see you, buddy. Beeb, Swift was looking at me this morning, so I added some more to my bags. Nice. Giving you that crazy eyes, eh? Death Bank, what's up, buddy? Shako, are we escaping Jasmy's monitoring zone next review? The next review for that is not until January, the first week of January. So it depends on what happens between now and then. But if nothing changes in terms of development, then no, we probably won't. But if we get the PDL launched, if we get the product out to market and everything's up and running, fully functional, then yeah, probably. Beebs, KASPA set a new record for proof of work, doing 15.79 million transactions in a day, and that's just that's without 10. Yeah, I talked about that yesterday, actually, Beebs. I think I brought it up in the live stream yesterday. Ruben, what do you think of recent XCN movements? Yesterday we had a random $35 million volume. What do you think this means for XCN's price? Do you think XCN could beat Jasmy? Hopeful thinking, I know. I mean, in terms of return on investment, then yeah, you'll probably get a better ROI out of XCN than you will out of Jasmy. But that's because, I mean, we're talking, if we're comparing the two, I mean, it's a little unfair to compare them simply because if we go to Jasmy, I mean, we're looking at a just under $1 billion market cap. And if we go to XCN, it's only got a $42 million market cap. So there's a lot more potential for ROI in XCN than there is for Jasmy, just because it's a micro cap, right? But in terms of volume spiking, yeah, there was a lot of XCN had itself a breakout, right? So out of a channel that we had been calling for quite some time. If I go over, let me pull up the chart on XCN. Hang on a second here. Let me tantalize your mind. Let me titillate you. All right, what do we got? So as you can see, so we had to break out. We tested this resistance. We broke through. A lot of people took profits here. Now we've broken up again. What are we on? We're on the daily. So we got rejected off of here again. What matters is we got to get back outside this trend line and close above it again, right? What's happening right now is that XCN is weakening these resistance levels for a breakout. As you can see, we've been tracking this descending channel for quite some time, guys. Now, when this finally does get through these resistance levels and gets out of eating up all that selling pressure, profit taking, right? This thing's going to absolutely freaking run. You have to understand that there's going to be profit taking, guys, by the short-term holders here, because when you see a run up like we did the other day, right? When you're looking at a 30% run up from all the way up here, I mean, short-term holders are going to take profits there, right? And they're probably buying back in down here. That's why you're seeing volume start to spike, right? So that's another conversation we had over on the Patreon, guys. That's why you got to get over there. We talk about the value of volume and how it's a rotating door. It's not just buying pressure, it's selling pressure, it's volume flowing through, right? So these are conversations we have over there. We help explain these things. So get over to the Patreon, guys. I'm telling you. WF Capital, what's good, y'all? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Funky Book of Memes is pumping nicely right now. Is it? Is Book of Memes doing its thing? %, run on Book of Memes. Yeah, absolutely. Having itself a grand old time, eh? Look at that. 14%, 19% on the week, which is pretty good considering the market, Bitcoin pulled back over the last couple of days. Beebs, Rob, if you look at KASPA's chart, doesn't look like it's forming a triple bottom. It's always bounced from here. What do you think? Let's go have a look. Let's go have a little looky-loo. KASPA. Oh yeah, we ended up breaking to the downside out of this, eh? We haven't looked at this chart in a little bit. So we have this, we had this broadening channel that we were in, but then we just kind of broke to the downside here. Let's see if we can kind of reassess this here. I mean, we're setting lower lows right now. Well, I don't know. See this here? This is what you start to see, right? When you're starting to see a curve to the upside, right? You're seeing higher lows coming in here. Every day we're closing higher and higher, right? But if we kind of zoom out a little bit, I'm looking for that double bottom you're talking about. Maybe if I go to the weekly, let's go to the weekly time frame. Yeah, see, it's been steady. We are kind of bottoming here. We had a neutral candle last week. We're spinning top candle, right? So far right now, we're kind of red on this weekly candle, but that's to be expected considering the whole week is red across the board. Yeah, I mean, it seems like we are setting a bottom, that's for sure, right? We are setting in a bottom. But I mean, we've been in a downward trajectory, right? Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this. And we double tapped down here. We wicked lower, but then we kind of came right back up to this level. Right about there. We're holding support right there, right around that 12 cent 6 level. We're kind of holding strong there. It feels like we've bottomed for sure. But this daily candle we're forming right now is kind of not, it's kind of not keeping trend with everything else unless we wick back up by the end of the day. So the all-time chart, the all-time chart's what you want to look at, huh? I can only, oh, damn it. Time, no. It's only giving me the, damn it, man. It's only giving me the monthly. This monthly is good enough. I probably can't get the same chart as you on KuCoin because it hasn't been listed here that long. But if you look, if you do notice something here on the monthly time frame for KASPA on KuCoin, is that what we're doing is we are setting higher lows all the time, right? Higher lows, higher highs. So we are looking good in that aspect on the monthly time frame. So yeah. But yeah, KASPA does look good in the near term. Seems like we've kind of bottomed out, so we'll see what Bitcoin does. Hangman, price prediction for Swift coin at the peak of this bull run. 9.5 plus 4 pennies. I don't know, man. Let me have a look at it and see. Swift coin. I mean, my target for Swift, honestly, a lot of people are calling for like $1 for Swift, right? For me, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to hit $1, right? We haven't looked at the Swift chart in a while either. We're looking for a retest of this before we can take off, right? We had our breakout or retest before we can go to the upside. My last analysis of this, my golden pocket was kind of up here between 2053 and 206. He's got these hiccups. But we have a major resistance level, as you can see right here, right at 2035. We bounced off there multiple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. We've rejected off of there. We need very similar to what's playing out on Onyx coin right now, if this does look familiar to you. But in saying that, we do have almost a triple bottom as well, right? So we could call this, you could almost call this an inverse head and shoulders, almost, but the head's not really that much higher. But I mean, we're just speculating here. But for me, I think Swift doesn't get to $1. I could see us somewhere around 25 to 40 cents would be realistic. But for me personally, I will be out of Swift probably somewhere around 10 cents, right? So, Beebs, that's okay. I always appreciate your feedback. Hey, no problem, brother. I got you. I got you, man. All right, guys, so that is the news this morning. I got to get ready to go to the gym. I got to get in a workout before I head to the office. Make sure you guys are hitting the like and subscribe, guys. Get over to the Patreon. Book your one-on-one coaching sessions over there. We have those. We also have group video calls, which I will be doing another one today. So get over there, join the conversation. Again, we talk about all the major topics in crypto, from what the SEC is doing to cold storage and self-custody, to portfolio structure, to creating exit strategies, to profit taking and front running the market, taxes, tax implications, everything in between, guys. So get over there, join the conversation. We also look at new projects, microcaps, things like that. So, Funky, what token is associated with that project? Which project are you talking about, Funky? You talking about this one right here? This is Swift Coin. SWFTC is the ticker, if that's what you're asking about. But yeah, off the grid. They don't have a token out yet, but they're on Avalanche. They're on Avalanche's blockchain, but they are coming out with their own token. So that's going to take a little bit. Yeah. We talk about off the grid over on the Patreon as well, and the AVAX ecosystem. So, the off the grid is coming out with their own token, but it's not out yet. So I will let you know when it comes out. But yeah, all right, guys, I'm gonna head off to the gym. Got to get in a workout. Curls for the girls. You know what it is. Rodney, what's up, buddy? So yeah, all right, guys. I will see you guys later for the evening live stream. Take care.